So that's one thing that's going to be very different from the Obama administration. Number one, the Saudis themselves have acknowledged that, and again, Biden has been around. He's been involved in this region for 30 something years, way before Obama was in the picture. So he's already had his views on it. He's been around that region a lot, so he's very, very familiar with it in a way that most other people aren't. And a lot of newbies who are coming in, seeing Biden as this new thing, they don't realize that he's had this sort of very long history associated with the region. The second thing is that they're coming back to, after Trump, like this entire place has changed. The dynamics of the Middle East have changed, right? You have this alliance between, Israel can fly over Saudi airspace. You have the UAE that has diplomatic ties with Israel. You can take a flight from like Tel Aviv to Dubai, direct flight, right? And you can fly over Saudi Arabia. You have these relationships that they have now with Sudan, with Bahrain. So it's a very different thing. The Iranian situation is very different. The Iranian deal is off, right? That the Obama administration negotiated. So he's coming back to a very different Middle East, a very different geopolitical sort of milieu in the Middle East that did not exist when he was working with Obama. And and we know that him and Obama actually disagreed on a lot of the foreign policy Middle East issues that they worked on. Obama also helped support the Saudi war in Yemen, right?
Right.
So there's so there are many things that are actually different about this, which may be why Saudi Arabia is a little bit more wary now that the Biden administration's in, and they also have a majority in the Senate and Congress and everything like that. So I think that's a big deal. But how do you think the fact that the Middle East is so different? You have all these new alliances, and there's this sort of anti-Iran axis that is composed of Israel as well as these really, really the biggest economic powerhouse Arab states in the region, and they're all allied with Israel against Iran. That whole dynamic, in the absence of the Iran deal, how does that change what from the Obama era policy? How does that change?
I mean, okay, so Biden is so far the first week has been better than Obama ever has been on this, right?
Yeah,
again,
I know.
Yeah, but again, this might be because the Middle East just matters less now to the United States than before. Okay, so this might not be because I don't know Biden is this amazing guy. No, it's because it seems like as right now, United States is going to focus more on China relative to the Middle East. Again, this could change. Okay, but that's what it seems like the direction that we're going to be going, right? So that frees up their hand to at least pretend to care more about human rights than they used to. Okay, I do have to say, like, okay, so Obama did do arms sales with Saudi Arabia. He did try to reduce it, especially after Saudi Arabia bombed a funeral. I remember that was like, apparently that was Obama's red line not to stop the arms deals, but to maybe like, can we just like send less weapons to people who are bombing innocent civilians? Like, we can still do it, but can we do it less? Trump was a disaster. Trump actually increased it exponentially compared to Obama. And Biden is just putting on a full freeze on it. Okay. And so, yeah, so you're right. It might be mostly because of the nature of the whole situation is changing in the Middle East. And again, it's not just the Middle East. It's also because of other elements outside of the Middle East that it was becoming more of a concern. I do think like the weapons industry needs to be promised some other fear. If this is because they're just way too powerful for them to be completely ignored. Like, we're talking about the world's largest weapons deal. Okay, this amount of money is not going to be like, oh, okay, I guess you guys are just gonna like ignore what we want. Like, these people will find a way to get what they want, and they have the money to back it up, right? But they might need to be promised, I don't know, something else somewhere else. But we need to find a way to make these vengeful gods happy in a way without actually paying the price in body bags. But yeah, you seem to be.
No, I was saying that there's one important thing that during Obama's time, and yes, like I remember this Fareed Zakaria interview. Fareed Zakaria interviewed Obama when Obama was about to go and visit Saudi Arabia, and he asked him about Raif Badawi. He said, there's a blogger there, it's jailed. Are you going to bring that up? And Obama in that interview actually said, well, no, I'm not going to. He said that he probably won't because he has to balance their national interests and what they want to get with, how much they want to provoke Saudi Arabia. So it was that kind of hedging that was doing. And I remember it was infuriating watching that at the time, because him just saying flat out that he wouldn't do it. But what's interesting is that one thing that Obama did do, to his credit, is when Obama started in 2009, the U.S. was very, very dependent on Saudi oil. When he left, the U.S. didn't really need Saudi oil that much. So that's actually one aspect of the 8 years of the Obama presidency, where he helped make the U.S. much, much less dependent on Saudi oil than they were before.
Oh, that's actually a very good point. You could say that Obama and maybe laid the groundworks for Biden to be able to make such a move. Is that what you're saying?
He did. I mean, if you look at the dependency then, and you look at how much, I mean, Obama himself, remember, he bowed to the Saudi king when he was like bowing. He went there. They all used to kiss his ass. But then towards the end of it, I think right now, I think it's just in the single digits, like the percentage of oil that the U.S. gets from the Saudis. That's why the whole vision, the Vision 2030, whatever he has, MBS, he started that. He's trying to get foreign investment. He's trying to open up the society a little bit. He's trying to make it, the women are allowed to drive. It's because they know that the oil thing is just not the cash cow, and it's decreasingly going to be in the future going to be a cash cow for them, like it was in the past. It's just not going to be. So that dependence on the oil has decreased, and a lot of that is actually credit to Obama during his 8 years. So that groundwork started getting laid around that point. Trump came in. I don't know what was up with Trump when he went in, and because Trump, when they say, I don't think it's any exaggeration when the Democrats say that he essentially gave them a blank check, like to cover for them with the Khashoggi thing, to veto this bipartisan agreement that we shouldn't be selling arms to them, we shouldn't be supporting the war in Yemen, and just single-handedly this one executive president just vetoing that is bizarre. He did always kowtow to these dictators, right? I mean, he did the same kind of thing with Putin and everybody else. So I feel like the Biden administration is now kind of picking up and building on that foundation now that they're a little bit more liberated, right? They have more leverage over Saudi Arabia. They know that Saudi Arabia is more susceptible. So they are they're bringing their sort of their values more and their national interest a little bit less, because they don't have as much national interest there as they did before.
All right, let me just clarify a few things, because I mean, just to be clear, like I'm not under any illusion that any of this is being done because politicians are like, this is out of the goodness of their heart. I mean, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We don't know. We don't care. At the end of the day, studies show that the dollars make all the difference, and that's where the votes will go. That's where the policies will go as well. And this is why people focusing on green energy is going to be make it so much easier for these politicians to virtue signal with their human rights. I mean, we want them to virtue signal, but we want them to be able to virtue signal. And if they are less reliant on oil, it's going to be easier for them to virtue signal with. So there's two things. We want them to continue virtue signaling by acting like they care about human rights. Even if it's fake, I don't care. We need that. But we need to also want those virtue signals to be actually where the pain is, okay?
Hey guys, if you want to join these streams live, get your comments and questions read by Ali and Armin and the guests, and most importantly, to get full access to the full video versions of all these episodes, become a patron. Link in the description below.